Hi everyone, welcome to another little demonstration. It's Wednesday afternoon. I know I normally come to you every second Friday morning, but this Friday morning we're going to be heading off from Dubbo to Burke. So off to Dubbo tomorrow and then out to Burke on Friday to visit our lovely friends. So I'm looking forward to that. So I thought I'd come to you a couple of days early with this little card. So I've been wanting to play with the new metallic shimmer paints. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if I can catch the light enough so that you can actually, I think there, you can actually see the shimmer. So these are the shimmer watercolors. And embossing has probably been one of my favourite things to do. I think it was one of those, oh, that's amazing. When I remember when I first saw somebody emboss something. So I'm going to do a little bit of embossing, then I'm going to show you the watercolour, how to watercolour, and we'll put the card together. Okay. So I just first wanted to show you the watercolour pans. So these are the new metallic watercolour pans. So again, I'm just trying to catch the light so you can see them. They're absolutely gorgeous. So this is the aqua colour, and then I've used this pinky purple to create this little one, and I thought we might try this red colour here and see what that comes out like. So I haven't really tried that one yet. Like I said, yesterday was my first play with them. Then the other new product that is really handy with the watercolour pans are these new water brushes. So they hold heaps of water, and then the pack has 6 different brush nibs. So you've got the fine ones. So the 2 fine ones, which we're going to use today. Then you've got the slightly thicker one. So you can see there the thicker one. And then we've got the flathead ones. So you can see there. So this will be great for big broad areas, just getting a big swoosh of colour on. And then you've got the other 2 flat brushes as well. So there how they come. The interesting thing, and I think it's fooled quite a few of us, is to open them. It's easy to fill them up with water, but you're doing the undo. So it's the reverse of what you would normally do. Then you're just filling the pen up with water, and then of course then you go the wrong way to screw the nib back on. So it's easy as that. You then just picking up whatever colour you want. If you need more water to flow, you just press the push button, and that's it. So they're easy peasy. So they're great, great set. You could fill them up with dilutions. You could fill them up with water soluble re-inkers and use them to colour in, and then just empty out when you want to change. To change colours, you're just going to clean your brush on scrap paper until it's clean, or you can just clean your brush in some water. So whatever you want to do. What I find with these is they're great and portable. So if you're out and about and you don't have a jar of water to colour in with, you can just take your watercolour pans and your water brush, and you've got your art supplies there, so you don't have to worry about carting jars of water and things like that. So I think they're a great little thing. So let's get on with it. So first of all, we're going to create the flower part. So I've done that on watercolour paper. So again, our watercolour paper has a smooth side and a rough side. I've been using the smooth side, but I'd like to see how it comes out on the rough side, so I'm going to stamp it on the rough side. So we've got our lovely flower stamp here, our clear embossing ink. But first of all, because I always forget, is I'm just going to use the little anti-static puff pillow. So I'm just going to rub that over the card. Now what this does is it takes the static out of the paper. so that the embossing powder will hopefully just stick to the stamped image rather than sticking to the paper as well. I'm just going to pop that on, line that up. Good press down. And then a piece of scrap paper here. Just pour on the silver embossing powder. I don't know what's happened there. It's got a bit of a smudge, so we just wipe that off. Good. Now I'm just going to pour this back into a little jar so it doesn't go everywhere. And then we're just going to heat this up. So when I emboss, I tend to shine it in the light so I can see where the area is that the powder's melting. And I just leave it in that area until I can see it changing. So you can see just the tip of the leaf there is changing. And then I just move it around. I don't do this kind of thing because I find that you tend to miss areas. So just follow it around. Now, if you do overheat it, it will actually flatten the embossing out, which you don't want. You want that nice raised embossing edge. So just follow it around. That's it, almost done. Just going to line to shoot. And that's all done. Okay. So now it's just colouring in. So I find it's handy to sort of activate the colours. If you've got a little pipette, it's handy just to get some water in it. Now I'm going to use this red colour. We'll see what that comes out like. And I'm going to use the green. Or I might use that one as the green. So we'll just see which kind of goes. I'm thinking the red and the green might look a bit Christmassy, but we're just going to just see what the colours come out like. So first of all, with the thicker of the two finest brushes, I'm actually going to wet it. Just needs a little bit of a push to get the... So I'm just wetting that petal, just to hopefully help with the blending of the colour. Then with the finer one, I'm picking up the red. Then I'm just going to do the highlights. So just where I want it to be a bit darker. And then with the clean brush, I'm then going to spread that out. So there's no big, great technique to this. It's really quite simple. Okay, then again, we just repeat that. So just wet it down. And if it's picked up a bit of pink, that's okay. Pick up the dark pink. So it's more a pink than a red. And then just colour it with the clean brush. And just repeat. And if you want it a bit darker, then just add more colour. And just with the wet brush, colour out to the edges. Sweating. Picking up the colour. Spreading that colour again. So I'm not going to do the whole flower. I'm not going to do the second flower because you can see what I've done. And you probably have other things that you need to get on and do. So don't really need to watch me colouring in. Everything. But you can just see how easy that is. And the water brushes just make it so much easier. Now you can see this one is a bit darker than the others. So I'm just going to go back and just add just a little bit more, just to darken that up. Just a little bit more. Again, we can just go. Just washing it down. And you can see it doesn't really take any time at all. No great artistic talent. Just getting that colour on and washing it down. There we go. So I think I'm quite happy with that. And then you just do the other colour, but I thought we'd just try the green. Now, I was thinking that the green, I've got a bit of, so here we go, just changing colour. So again, just wiping it on the scrap paper until it's all clean. This one should be clean anyway. It's just been stained by the green that I've been using. So I'm just wondering which would be better, this green. So we can just try it out on the paper next to the pink and just see which one we like. Now we could mix the two of them together, so how about we try that? So we can mix a bit of that. There's a bit of a puddle there. A bit of that limey green as well. Let's see what colour we get. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, I'm going to go that one. So it's just playing around. I find playing is the fun part. Now I forgot to wet that. But we'll just see how that's blending in. Okay, anyway. So you can see that that's blended quite nice anyway without me even having wet the leaf first. But I do find wetting the leaf first will, or wetting any area first, will give you that better blend. But again, it's all about the playing and having an experiment, like being open to creating and just playing. Oops, we forgot the water again. No, I didn't remember the water. I picked it up with the wrong brush. So I tend to do, when I was doing the petals, I tended to do just one at a time, just so that it doesn't dry out and you've got that better chance to blend. But with the leaves, they're smaller area, so. Okay. So that's the reddy colour, reddy pink colour, and then the purpley the purpley pink. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just cut, well, I won't cut around because I've already pre-cut this one, and I'm sure you all know how to cut out. So what I've done is, because you've got these smaller elements to go around, I've actually left a border around the whole thing. I find too, if you emboss and you cut too close to the embossing, it can actually lift the embossing up. So I tend to, if I'm cutting out an embossed image, I tend to always leave a little white border around it. So that's it cut out. If I had have cut it out, we've got some lovely little purple scissors that are really great for fine cutting. So they're the ones that I've used to cut this one out. So flower's done. Now you can see also I haven't coloured in the centre of the flower because I think it looks quite nice as white, but you could add some eye stickles to the centre of it, maybe some glossy accent just to give a bit more of a 3D effect, but I'm quite liking it the way it is. I like the shimmer of the embossing powder, the silver emboss, and I think that's enough glitz and glamour. So I've left it undone. So now we can just put these all aside for the moment. And we're just going to create a little background for the card. So I'm just using Hickory Smoke Distress. So with the blending tool. So again, you could use a blending brush. I've decided on the blending tool because it's quite an open stencil. So to get that fine detail, if I had one that was really a fine detailed stencil, then I'd use the blending brush, but this is quite an open stencil. So just holding the stencil in place and then just circling on with the blending tool. And then just lining it back up again, holding the area that you've already done. And it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake because you're going to be covering most of that up anyway. So that's your little stenciled piece. Then I'm just going to use some of the black soot ink. So this is the oxide ink. I can't find my distress ink. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a frame, a little bit of a border. So just blending around that. I've picked the black soot rather than going with the Hickory Smoke because I found the Hickory Smoke was just too light and it wasn't giving that nice defined border. So just until you're happy with the border. And then we're just going to do a bit of partial stamping. So this is the script stamp from the Floral Splash range. And because I want that to be nice and crisp, I'm going to use the archival black. So here I've used 2 different blacks and a grey, all of different ink pads. You can use the same ones. It's just I find I use an ink for the purpose that I want it. So if I'm blending, I'll use distress ink or I'll use distress oxide. If I'm edging, I'll use again distress ink or distress oxide. But if I'm stamping, especially a fine script like this, I want it to be lovely and crisp. So that's where I tend to use the archival inks. You can use the distress oxide, also stamps quite nicely and crisply. But I think if you really want that crisp image, then the archival is the way to go. So now I've been talking, archival again tends to dry pretty quickly. That's the other advantage of it. So you're not smudging things. Now I'm looking, another little hint, I always put my name, so Lucy, at the top of my stamp so that I know if it's right side up. So if I can see Lucy is right side up, then I know my stamp is right side up. So you're just going to hold it in your hand and you're just going to touch down little bits and pieces. So I've just done a little bit in the corner, the diagonal corners. So you could stamp the whole lot if you like, but I just like that effect of just a little bit of stamping. Then all that is a little bit of tape, and I forgot my mounting tape, but I'm sure you'll forgive me. So just tape on all 4 sides. And then just folding our card in half. Oh, and look, I've given it a nice smudge. I obviously had black on my finger. So just give it a nice burnish. We're going to cover that up. Yes, we are. There we go. So that'll cover that smudge beautifully. So just taking the tape off. Popping that on so there's an even border. Now I've used the birthday wishes on here. In that set also comes thank you and a with love. So I thought with this one I might just do the thank you. It's always nice to say thank you with a card, isn't it? So again, popping your stamp on. And always leaving your stamp on the table and taking your ink to your stamp, keeping your stamp nice and horizontal, your ink pad nice and horizontal, so you're not getting that nasty ink smudge. And then just lining it up. Giving it a good firm press down. And voila. So that's the thank you. So you can see, and I'll show you the birthday, the with love as well. I'll just stamp it onto the scrap paper here so you can see that. So it is a really lovely, so that's the with love. So it's a really lovely set. I love the font. Okay, so we've got our card base ready, and then all we're doing is with our little pre-cut, we're just going to pop it on top. So I've mounted this one, but with this one, of course, because I've left my mounting tape in the dining room where I had a class this morning. So this one is just going to get attached with some double-sided tape. And there's your card. So whatever colour you like, it looks beautiful in all the colours. So have fun, create, and if you need to know anything more about any of the products that we've used today, please contact me. I'm very happy to talk with you about them. And if you have any ideas of things that you want me to demonstrate, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye, have a great day.